Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our 7th business broadcast. We've been doing these calls as a resource to provide valuable information to our business community. It's been a challenging time for many, so we hope to get you the resources you need to help your business succeed. The business community is now in a different phase of the COVID-19 effect, and there's still so much for businesses to process, but we want to encourage you again to reach out to your resources and help navigate, and let us or anybody else that you trust help navigate the programs, regulations, or general business needs. We are always available to answer questions. Just a quick disclaimer, we will always try our best to get you the most accurate, the most up-to-date information, but please be aware that all of this stuff, as you well know, is changing rapidly. So you as a business, reach out to your trusted resource. Make sure that the information that's in front of you is the most current. So the purpose of today's call, we're going to take a little bit different track to kind of get away from the COVID-19 talk and talk about something else that's very important right now. And we don't want this to get left on the back burner. Today we're going to talk about the 2020 U.S. Census, the importance of a complete and accurate count and the effect it has on the county for the next 10 years. So we felt it was really important to just slide this in, talk to you as businesses. We know that you're a resource in getting this information out to your employees. So we want to make sure that you guys have the most accurate information so you're able to talk about the census as well. So we began these business broadcast calls at the onset of COVID to help provide immediate resources. And we wanted to be able to answer real-time questions. We plan to continue these calls into the future, but we'll be moving to more of an as-needed basis. We recognize that things are changing very fast, so when something comes up that we feel is important, we will be changing and getting that information out to you as it comes to us. So we also today, I'll have next slide. If you have any questions, you can send us a chat through Zoom, chat with the person that says ask us a question, or you can email us at businesshelp@bowmannd.com. This email is set up specifically to take questions from our business community. And then we can also take questions at the end of this presentation. You will also be able to find a recording of today's call or any other past business broadcast on our Growing Bowman County Facebook page or on our YouTube channel at Bowman County. Another quick announcement that we wanted to include in today's call, because it is so time sensitive and important to you as businesses, is tomorrow, August 12th, 9 a.m. Mountain Central Time, Standard Time, you can expect to see the ERG application open. I know a lot of you have been asking us about this. This is very crucial for businesses to be aware of when this application opens and when it closes. So the first round deadline was extended to August 28th. This grant is available for businesses to address COVID-related impacts on their business, to help encourage customers to get back into your business, to help you address those things. So each business qualifies for up to $50,000 for one location. If you have more than one location in the state of North Dakota, you can get up to $100,000. So please be looking for an email from the Development Corporation with a link to the application tomorrow morning. We will be sending it out as soon as we see it. And we are also available to help you with the application, to help you brainstorm how to use the funds to best serve your business. So please be watching for that email tomorrow. With that, a quick overview of today's agenda. I am Taryn Dorr. I am the Director of Economic Development here for Bowman County. We have on the call with us today Shelby Kincaid and Laura Weber, also in our office. And so they will be talking to you about the census, how it benefits our county, how to get an accurate count, and the extended response times and the door-to-door that will be happening. Laura will be also going step by step through the online census, and then we will be taking questions at the end. Just a quick, they asked me to say quickly what the census is. And I think a lot of us have a general awareness of what the census is. We've seen it before, but it was included in the U.S. Constitution. The first U.S. Census was led by Thomas Jefferson in 1790. The census is key for determining the number of seats for a state in the House of Representatives and the distribution of federal funds to local communities, agencies, and the like. And so just that last point is very important, and the girls are going to be emphasizing that today. The census is huge when it comes to that federal funds distribution to our local communities. That is why you have seen us hitting the streets, talking to you, talking to the community about taking the census, and why we're so willing to make sure each person is at the table getting that filled out. With that, I am going to turn it over to Shelby, and she's going to talk to you about how Bowman County benefits from this.
Thank you, Taryn. So like Taryn was just talking about the impact of the funds to our local community, more than $675 billion in funds, federal funds and grants will be distributed to counties and communities based on the census data. Those are programs like school lunches and title programs and special education in school. It will determine the funding that we have for highways in North Dakota. And then supplemental programs like SNAP and WIC, which are women, infants, and children, and supplement nutrition assistance programs. The family and child assistance, foster care, child care, all very important things. Some others that aren't on here are grants are determined, Medicaid and healthcare assistance are just a few others. They're on a list of many that are determined by the outcome of the census.
Good morning, this is Laura, and I'm going to jump in here and talk a little bit more specifically on how businesses might benefit. And a lot of that does come through programs that are ran by our federal government. So if you actually go on the census.gov website, you can pull up a list of all of the different agencies that receive funding from the census. And there isn't much areas of our lives that aren't touched in some way, shape, or form by that funding. And so kind of reiterating the importance of it into the businesses, it is really important to know who your audience and what your market looks like. And the census can help you do that as long as we have an accurate count. It helps you know what your customer base looks like, the income levels of those households, you know, what's their expendable income. If you're providing a service that isn't a necessity, you might want to know how many people in your area have the ability to actually pay for your service. So when building a business plan or looking to change or pivot your business, those are key facts that you can receive from the census. It also can help with hiring practices, knowing who's available, what's out there as far as educational levels. And it can help in, you know, honing in on, you know, do you have what we need here locally? Are you looking somewhere outside of the area? Things of that nature when you're looking at hiring individuals for your business. Again, going back to kind of understanding your customer base, it can help you understand if you need to grow, where you should grow. Is, you know, is our population growing in a certain area or demographic of people? You know, are we getting more of the younger families? Is it more of the elderly? You know, does your service provide things for those specific demographics? And knowing those will help you understand whether you should grow in those areas, where you might want to be located within the area or the county, and, you know, if you want to assess different offerings within your business. It also is key, again, going back to that local funding that comes back from the federal count, is we also determine, Shelby mentioned it shortly, but grants are determined from population counts and what we're eligible for. Also locally, it can help us understand where we need to be spending our resources and time. So it can be a very much of a guide to our leaderships making decisions and moving forward as we're going through things like strategic planning and those types of projects. It'll be key for us to understand who our population is and where we need to be focusing time and efforts. And that's locally here within the city, county, municipalities. So those are kind of the key ways that the census can help benefit your business directly. And we want to be sure that you guys are understanding that, so that when we're encouraging the response, that you get it taken care of, so that you're seeing that you get also benefits from the process.
All right, thank you, Laura. Extended response time. So originally, the census was supposed to end as far as self-response July 31st, but due to current situations going on with COVID and everything, they have actually extended it to October 31st, and just last week, they have changed it again to September 30th. So just to clear some of that up, if you've been hearing different dates, September 30th, as of right now, is the last day that individuals and households can self-respond. There's a few different ways to respond. There's the paper form that got sent in the mail. If you still have that, you can mail that in, fill it out, mail it in blue or black ink. They won't accept pencil and red pen. And if you have lost the return envelope, I have listed the address that you can use to send in your paper form. If you do not have your paper form anymore, or you would just prefer to go online, I have listed the website here, and Laura will walk us through that form in just a minute. And also by telephone, you can call in and actually talk to somebody, and they will answer or help you go through and answer your questions with you. And there's different languages you can do it in. You can find those on the website as well. But I have listed the English number. And the last way is the census taker. If you have not filled out, they are starting to go door to door. They started July 16th. They started in small groups and sent census takers out just in some states. But today actually is when they're going to send them out in droves. And the goal is just to get that complete and accurate count. The door-to-door census takers will be practicing social distance. They'll be wearing masks, but they will help you fill out your census right there on your doorstep.
Quick question, Shelby. If you self-respond, is there any reason that they would come to your door still?
Yes. Sometimes there's censuses that were sent in, and for some reason a question was missed or incomplete. For that reason, they might send someone to your door just to get those answers. And other times there's just census follow-ups where they will send people to your door even if you have filled out your census.
So be looking for those guys around town as they're going out and about. But we're going to try to give you what has worked, I think, for many people in the area is the online census. And I know that it asks for a code initially when you start going through, but you can bypass that and just go into the census itself and complete it completely online, even if you don't have that code that they did send out through a mailing. So you'd want to go to, I'm just going to go through it step by step. It really is a pretty straightforward process. I did it for my family, and I'm a family of 5 in probably under 15 minutes. And then I did this as a sample so that we had screenshots, and I only did a family of 3, and it took very limited time. And so it really doesn't take much time at all, and we can get the count that we need in order to be eligible for the most federal dollars in programs that we can here in Bowman County. So you'll want to go to 2020census.gov, and you can go to respond. Any of the respond buttons will be take you to the right link and get you to the form, and they're placed in multiple places within the site. The site is extremely informative too, so if you want to explore, understand a little bit more about the distribution, why it matters, what to do, all of that information is here on the census.gov website. And so the second you push respond, you'll get this question, and you can complete it as to where you were living on April 1st, 2020. So that is the key date as far as the response and the information they're looking for. So anything that was happening after April 1st, 2020 is technically not relevant for the 2020 census. So you would select which one applies to you, and then just select the next button. It'll then quickly prompt the next question and you fill in your address that you have. So they do look for a physical address. So something, you know, a P.O. box, we used to have rural routes back in the day. Those would not be eligible addresses. They're going to want a physical location. And that includes apartment buildings, things of that nature. They're going to want to know your apartment building and your apartment number or unit. So you can fill that in with your information and then you just go ahead and select the next button. Now, if at any time you're like, you know, I don't know if I did that right or whatever, you can always select the previous button as well and it'll take you back to the screen and help you edit, and you can edit the whole form until you submit it. So that can be really helpful too. So you go ahead and click the next button and then they're gonna, it'll be like the US official address that you put in there, and they just want you to confirm that that's the address that you are at and that that was the one that you wanted to put. You again can click revise and go and make any changes that you see necessary, but if it looks good, you go ahead and click submit. Next, they'll ask about who is actually filling out the census. And so it was me, I was filling out the census and I included my phone number in case of any necessary follow-up. And you select the next button. Again, this is in relevance to where and what was happening in your household as of April 1st, 2020. So at that time I had 5 people in my household, or so we'll say I did. And you just put that number in there and click next. And that helps them populate the next page's forms, which is nice. So they've got my name on there. I'm the first person, I'm filling out the census, and then I begin to list any other individuals that are living in my household. So if you have a spouse, their name would go there, and any children would also be put in there that live at your primary residence. So you can include that. And as you go to the bottom of it, it'll have, again, the previous and next. So I said I had 5, and then I decided, nope, I really don't have 5 people at my house. I only have 3. So you can just go ahead and remove those extra fields if you do need to change that. It won't let you proceed unless you remove them or fill them in with a name. And so once you remove them or you have them all filled in, you can go ahead and push the next button and it will take you to the next step. They want you to verify that you didn't miss anybody. So we've got the 2 of us, we're good to go. And you can click the next button again. They want to know the status of your home ownership or where you are living. Are you renting? Are you, do you own it outright? Do you have a mortgage? All of those are options there, and you can click the one that is most appropriate for your situation and then select next. So then it'll also ask you for in my case, we own our home, and so who owns it and who is the primary owner? So it's me and my spouse. And you just select the next button. Okay, we're already done with section, well, 2 of them. They first verify your address and then they ask you that household information. And they come back here and let you know you're done with that section, and then we go into the individual questions per person. They'll ask you what your sex is, your age, and once you select and populate these fields, all you have to do is select next. If you have Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin, and then they'll ask your race. So there's quite a few boxes to select from here. I think for me, my biggest challenge is I selected white, and then having to figure out what my ethnic origin was. We're all a little muddled maybe, or so I had to think and maybe make a few phone calls to mom and go, you're mostly Norwegian, German, maybe some French, you know, so kind of pick out what your strongest background is and select and enter that into the field underneath your selection. This is just a few more of those options as far as race goes. And once you get selected what that is and fill in the necessary fields and push next, then I'm all taken care of, and I will complete the other 2 that are in my household with the same questions. So because I indicated Brian and I were owners of the home, they do ask our relationship. And they'll ask it actually on each of those. What is the relationship to the people that are living in your home? And just fill out as is necessary. So the first one you saw Brian's, and then the second one you saw Sawyer's here, and she's my biological daughter. And so then she can, and then it moves you through the rest of the questions. Again, what is Sawyer's sex? And then I filled out ethnic origin and race. So those are the same questions for each person within your household. And then you can always go back and remove them if for some reason you forgot they stopped living with you. I don't think you'd forget, but you can remove people if you need to, or edit their field. So if you felt like you wanted to go back and double check what you put down for origins or anything like that, you can go back and edit at any time. Once all of your people did, you'll go ahead and go to the final questions and push the start button. And this is just kind of, again, a verification of the information that you've already provided. They just want to be sure that you're not missing anybody or that you're in a situation that somebody might not be at your house full time. They don't want to double count people. So in the case that you might have a stepson or a niece or a nephew that are living with you, where are they primarily living is what you're going to base on who counts them, or who has primary custody. Those are the types of things that will help you understand where they need to be. They also college, that is another one that we've seen a lot of questions about, is if you have a student in college, they might not be living with you, but if they're under the age of 18 or under, you can still claim them in your household. So it just kind of depends on how you want to answer that as a family too, whether they'll individually answer because they live somewhere else or whether they're still included in your group. So this is just that same question for Sawyer, verifying where she is, if she's living somewhere else. Once you answer those questions for each of the people that you filled out the census for, you simply submit questionnaire. Luckily for me, they always give us that option to go back and edit anything because I'm always rechecking and making sure I have what I want in my answers and that I did it right. So at this point, you can click Edit Questionnaire again, and you can go back to the very beginning if you would like and make sure all of your questions are answered in the way you feel comfortable. If you feel good with all of your answers, you will go ahead and select Submit Questionnaire, and you will receive a confirmation number. And that confirmation number is kind of the key to making sure that everything was submitted as appropriately as it should and that they have what they need. So make sure that once you hit submit, you kind of hang tight for just a few seconds and that you get that confirmation number. Once you have the confirmation number, you're good to go. They should have the data that they're looking for, and you are done taking your census for 2020. So that is as easy as it gets. It really wouldn't take it much longer than what I did to just walk you through that in order to fill out your census. You can also submit it from this page as well. So I went back and made sure I edited my questionnaire how I wanted, and then the Submit Census questionnaire pops right up at the top again, or the bottom. They're not gonna let you miss it. So something as business owners and individuals in our county, in our area, our region, this is important not only for Bowman County, but for our region as a whole. This is some ways that you could think about helping through your businesses. If you have employees, you can offer employees an incentive to complete the sentence, such as everybody that completes it could be entered into a drawing for a coffee or flowers or something that was maybe relevant to you and your business. So that can be kind of just a fun competition thing to make it so it doesn't seem like a chore. You could also give them 15 minutes of work time to complete the census. It really is not more extensive than that. It should not take longer than that. And they can get it done and then it's all taken care of. And then last but not least, you can be there to answer questions. Go ahead and take it yourself and then be available to answer questions that they might have in regards to taking the census. And so those are ways that us as business owners and leaders in the community can help make sure that we get an accurate count.
Right, thank you, Laura. One additional thing, we just wanted to touch on scams that we have heard of going around. For those of you that don't know what phishing is, it is using online sources such as email or something to send you an email for someone that is pretending to be someone else, and it's normally someone you would think you could trust, so you feel comfortable answering the questions or clicking on links and giving away your personal information to someone that's posing as someone else, but is going to use that information that could potentially damage your image. So a couple of things. The census will never ask for your full social security number. So if you get an email that looks like it's coming from the census and they ask for your social security number and want the full thing, that is a red flag that this is probably not a legitimate question. It's probably not actually the census, and you will want to delete that email right away and not click on anything. Any links or anything they might include in there. They'll never ask for your bank account or your credit card numbers or anything on behalf of your political party or money donations, things like that. If it raises a red flag for you, this number I have listed below, it wouldn't be a bad number to call. It's a scam reporting number strictly for the census. They'll be able to tell you if it's a legit email or a legit phone call that you may have received or not. Another thing is the census, all of their websites are all .gov, so 2020census.gov. If you receive something, they want you to click on a link, and the link is 2020census.com or .org. Right there, you know that that's not a link you should probably click on. So just be aware of those kind of things. And like I said, if you think you have been called or got an email, give that number a call and let them know.
Okay, with that, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask now. I just want to reiterate a couple of the points. I think the girls made some really good points today. The census impacts our entire community, and that is our business community as well. I think how Laura highlighted how you as businesses can help, that would be huge for helping your local and state governments. It would go a long way in supporting your community. So I would highly encourage that. So if someone had to take the census and needed help, could they come by our office?
Yep, they can they can do that. We've had a few individuals that have asked for help, and if they just want a few questions answered, we do that. If they're comfortable and ask us to be there while they take the census, we're willing to do that too. Okay. So if you have any questions or need help, definitely stop in.
Okay. Do you know your ethnic origin, Shelby?
I know some of it.
A little Irish in your red hair.
There is that.
Yes. No, beyond that, I don't see any questions from the audience, but just reiterating the importance of census, I think, is a good thing. There's also some resources. Please go to 2020census.gov. If you want to fill out your census, there's a ton of information there available. As Laura pointed out, you do not have to have your code. There is a place to click. If you don't, I filled my census out. It was painless. I got hung up on the ethnic origin thing too, like Laura did. I did my best guess. And so please go there. It's painless, and reach out to us if we can help. We are a resource in this. Other than that, as I mentioned earlier, our next upcoming business broadcast, we don't have a set date. We're going to wait for a topic that we know is valuable to our businesses, and we will reach out, get you that information, and do a call at that time. With that, we want to say thank you for joining us. Please reach out to businesshelp@bowmannd.com, or just call us or stop by. We are happy to help anytime. We've got some friendly faces in here that are always willing to step up and help. So thank you.